this Kyrie thing is ridiculous. It's bad for basketball. You come to a game and Kyrie's out. Why? Because he stubbed his toe. He don't want to play. It's not even an injury a lot of times. It's just him. Oh, he saw a bird die on the sidewalk, and it reminded him of how Malcolm X died. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Bench Mob, they're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They rep a jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. I ain't taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. You playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Shooting now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen from now. But really, I've been trying to tell you.
Bench Mob Podcast. What's up, bro?
To get into a discussion.
Right.
Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Ent. We got the big three in the building tonight. CJ, Cincinnati's very own, had to handle some family business, so he is not able to attend tonight's show. But we got Greg Hot Take Since Me in the building tonight. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Listen, to that Drake for the longest time now. I'm good. I'm locked in. Got good music.
Fact.
Miles, smooth operator Davenport. How you living?
I'm doing good. Oh yeah. Everybody out there, be on the lookout for this Beyonce album. It's coming out real soon. It's hot. It's hot. Queen B is hot. I'm telling you.
You better stop. You're gonna piss off the wrong people. You piss off the wrong people. You're gonna piss off people you never want to piss off.
Yeah, you're right. Don't come for me.
They're powerful, brother. They're a powerful group.
Yo, Breezy dropping on the same day. That just tells you the levels to this.
Mm-hmm.
Breezy don't care. That's why he don't care. That's what it is.
Team Breezy almost just as crazy as the Beehive. He's still gonna do numbers.
He'll do
Everything he's been through, I don't think you could break his soul.
Oh, he on a roll tonight.
Yeah, that thing's crazy. It's facts though. It's true though.
It's true.
So since we on the music topic, bro, we're gonna start off with the Drake review. Honestly, Nevermind. What was your reviews, your takes on Drake's most recent album? What is that? The seventh album he's put out now?
Yeah.
7th album.
I thought it was real. Like, people, when they hear Drake, they expect, half rapping, half singing, this mixture of, heavy beats, heavy rap beats, and then, he's swooning you over some R&B stuff. But I don't think he's ever on any level gone to what he did on this album, where, he's bringing house music back. And it was a good album. It was a really good album. And it was just funny how, like, 2 hours after it comes out, I'm on Twitter and you just see people saying, like, oh, honestly, never mind. I guess he meant it. I'm like, what are you talking about? It just came out. How are we judging the album off of, like, the first listen at, like, 2 a.m. at that? You didn't even get to sit with it, ride in your car, top down. It's hot out. So this is some summer music right here. He brought this just in time for the summer. Some good vibes. He didn't even have to drop. He just dropped last year. So usually artists wait a little bit, but it's Drake. So he can do what he wants. He's like, you know what, here's some music for you to enjoy this summer. It's gonna be in the clubs everywhere, all the day parties. So you can't really hate on Drake. He, as much as he gives you different things you can hate on him for, the music has always been the thing that you can't really hate on that. So I thought as a collective, the album was good. The last song of the album with 21, that was what people were probably expecting, more so on the album than, massive and a keeper and all that stuff. But yeah, sometimes you got to try new things and be open to new things. So that's how I see it.
Miles the nail on the head. Miles, and for me, it's you got to be open to new things. Part of it that stands out to me because I knew when people heard this album that people were gonna instantly be like, "Oh, what is this? This is trash." I'm like, because people are naturally in a rush to call things trash on the internet. You just want to be first to say something on Twitter, on Instagram. So that's what that is, right? You didn't sit with the album, and now it's funny because the same people who were saying it's trash 2 days later are saying, "Oh, this actually is it vibes like, oh, it's a great album. I'm enjoying it." Right? Because you can't help but dance to this album. You really can't. Like if you got any mobility at all, any fluidity at all in your body, you're dancing to this album. This album's hard. Like it's really good. But this is the kind of stuff I always had a really diverse taste in music. So for me, this album was a hit right away. And I've always liked his songs like this. And he's done a bunch of songs like this. This is not new for Drake. Maybe the house EDM sound a little bit in the background is a little new, but the melodic nature of the music, the willingness to try new things on in terms of the sounds he's using, in terms of the way he's playing with the songs on the songs, like that's not new. That's not new. So I enjoyed this album through and through. There's not a song on there I have a complaint about. If anything, Jimmy Cooks is actually one of my least favorite songs on the album because I've heard Jimmy Cooks before. It's the same formula. He gives it to you every time and people eat it up. And it's great. It's cool. It's a great song. I'm not, it's just, I've been saying in comparison to other songs on there like Massive and Flights Booked and all these other songs on there, like those hit for me. Like, those really hit for me. I love the album. And I contend that, and I was going down the list, I think it's a top 5 album already. That's where I put it. Like, I didn't need much time to sit with it because I was waiting for him to drop an album like this, where he gave me a bunch of these sounds, one of these songs back to back to back. And I feel complete with that. So it's a top 5 album for me. I have it right around this where I have More Life. More Life and that album are kind of sitting there. More Life is a sleeper. Y'all sleep on More Life. It miles with your smile. More Life is hard. More Life got songs just like this on there. Passion Fruit, all that. Talking about. It's a great album, but that's a whole different discussion. I love this album. I have no complaints. I give it like a 9.5 out of 10 if I was giving it a rating.
When I heard the album, I automatically knew this was a business move. This is going triple, quadruple platinum. I heard it and I can literally envision and see in my head some kid doing.
You talk about the TikTok bag.
This is going, you already know the whole summer, outside of the day parties and all that, this is going on everybody's TikTok. They doing dances to this. It is built for that. I definitely like the aspect though. It gave me Jersey club vibes. It brought me back to high school. A lot of these songs. If you not into club, if you're not into house music, you won't think this is booty. Most people expect it, like you said, the rap. I said this, Drake is one of the few people that can actually pull this off and afford to take this risk and this chance. I would have preferred some more bars because I like taking those bars and using it as posts on Instagram, but I got no complaints about the album. That was my only thing. I wish it was just a little couple more bars.
You give you plenty of captions in this album, though. All right, like if you're looking for captions, they're in the song. So that's the thing. Drake that's the genius in it. Like he didn't have to give you the same delivery. The delivery changed, but the content was the same. It's the same content. It's Drake being Drake. It's just he can give it to you in so many different ways, and that's what makes him special. That's what makes him special, in my opinion. A lot of guys couldn't do this. Jay-Z could not do this. Nas couldn't do this. Biggie couldn't do this. Lil Wayne couldn't do this. Like you gotta be able to, expand your palate a little bit. Like, like that. This is the type of this is a special album to me. I really mean that. Like it highlights the versatility on a different level, like that most artists can't do. In my opinion, most artists can't do this. Like there's some one-of-one type stuff, and I think we both agreed on that in the group chat. I think we talked about it. We both agreed on that. There's some one-of-one stuff, bro. This album is hard. It's hard. Like there's not a song on there I have a complaint about. Honestly, I really enjoyed it.
It speaks to his musical genius. I literally just feel like whatever is going on, this is one of the few artists that will capitalize on what's going on. This is literally, all right, this is what's hot right now. This is what's going crazy on TikTok. This is what's going viral. I'm going to take the sound that I hear on TikTok and what's trending and people doing dances, and I'm going to make a whole album like that. so y'all can dance to this. So it could be for the city girls. It could be for the homies. It could be for the little teenage kids that's on TikTok. This is touching all levels.
Sorry, I would have loved to have gotten to see Cincinnati's very own take on this album. I think that'd be great to hear what he thought.
I don't think he heard it yet.
I don't think so either. He heard one song and he was like, I'm out. Yeah, that's really what it was. He ain't got no.
It's not giving Beyonce on this.
No, it's not giving. It's not giving Queen B. Right.
But you know what's crazy is the first song she drops that's coming off the album. What does it sound like?
Just
exactly
like that.
Just like this. Yeah.
I don't know that song. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I don't know if that song was better than any of the songs I heard on.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. But that's the benefit of building up such a following like she has.
And even in the media, like people are so scared of the Beehive. I understand. Like in the media, it was like, oh, this, like you see, that's real house music. That's how it's done. And I'm like, that song objectively was not better than anything I heard on Drake's album. Like I'm just being real. Like I don't think.
Greg, are you saying that song by Beyonce wasn't good?
I'm saying it wasn't as good as Drake's songs. She's still amazing. Queen Bee for president. Queen Bee can rule the world. That's all I care. Y'all leave me alone.
Yo, the thing
Get the hell away from me.
The thing is, though, if we just be honest, if she put some mid stuff out, is anybody gonna say it's mid?
I'm not.
I hope so.
I'm not.
Because
don't come to me for the truth. I'm not giving it to you about Beyonce. It's the one thing I'll lie to you about all damn day.
Because I'm like, I saw the same post as you, Greg. Like, oh yeah, this is what it's supposed to sound like. This is what Drake was going for. I'm like, really?
No, I think Drake got what he was going for. I think that he did it a little bit better than she did, and people don't want to admit it. And that's okay. I mean, it was a catchy song. It's great. It's great. I can see already the girls enjoying it at the cookouts and all.
No, I've seen it on every picture. Legit. If I've seen 10 pictures on my feed, 8 of them have it as a caption already. Yeah. Don't break my soul. Come on, bro.
It's a good song. Beyonce don't make bad music, but if you're gonna compare it to Drake's album, like I think what you gotta admit to yourself about Drake's album is that these are high quality records on the album, like all over the place, every single one. I mean, the Overdrive, massive. He didn't miss a keeper. The Flight's book is incredible. Ties That Bind, like so many really good songs on there, and so many different sounds and variety of sounds. Currents was incredible. Sticky is the song of the summer. Sticky is incredible. Sticky is like it's like drugs, but it's music, it's sound, but it's like drugs. You just want to inject yourself with that and just run with it all damn day. You having a bad day, play Sticky, you should be all right. You crash your car, play Sticky, you should be all right. Like, it's whatever. Like, don't call your insurance company, don't call the cops, play Sticky real quick. You'll be all right. It's a great record, bro.
And I think it's funny he uses Tristan Thompson in that music video.
Yeah.
That was for Falling. That was for Falling Down, right? Yeah, Falling Down, whatever. Falling Down, I think it was.
Very troll-esque.
Very troll-esque, yes.
I would like.
And also very troll-esque on Tristan's part to be in the video. I mean, that's really good.
That's what I'm pointing to. And Drake gets married to 28 women, and he happens to be in the video. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. That's his dream life,
that's his bag.
Speaking of trolling, it seems like, according to Greg, all those reports that Kyrie possibly may be out is Brian Windhurst, ESPN, Shams. They are all trolling. Kyrie is staying in Brooklyn. Miles, I know, has different views on it. I'll let Miles go first on this one. Do you think Kyrie will be a Net, a Laker, or a Clipper?
Sheesh. I mean, it is kind of crazy that this is what it's come down to now with this whole Kyrie situation, because I didn't think, honestly, that we'd be talking about this after 4 years in Brooklyn. I mean, like all Nets fans have said, they thought there'd be a championship by now, but here we are with Kyrie, playing playing chicken with the Nets right now. So I think he moves on, honestly. I hope he moves on, because then that'll probably, there's a dark cloud over the Nets right now, because Kyrie, he's not seen as the best teammate right now, and I don't get why KD's kind of tied his Nets legacy along with Kyrie's. It doesn't make sense to me, but I don't know. Kyrie's just making me, I feel sick for Nets fans right now. I feel sick because, like, this is an off season where you just got swept by the Celtics, and the combo should be, all right, let's get it next year. Let's do this. We got this, guys. And now, right before the draft, we're talking about Kyrie might opt out. He might not sign this contract. It's about everything but what it should be. So, you know what? If he signs with LA, it's a good story, because him and Bron being back together, I mean, who wouldn't want to hear that story but Nets fans? So, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting month of June and July for Nets fans, because if KD asks out, then you got the greatest pump faker of all time just by his lonesome, Ben Simmons. He's rocking out still as a Net. So you can't trade Ben Simmons if these two guys leave. So then, Greg, what's your take on this? I'm at a loss for words a little bit, because Kyrie's Kyrie, and KD is.
He said the greatest pump faker.
Take it away. Take it away.
This is. If you ever want to exercise self-control like a Buddhist monk, listening to you talk basketball without exploding, that's exactly what I just did. I just exercised a great deal of self-control. That's what I just did. I just letting you finish, letting you say what you were saying. But where do I start? I mean, the Kyrie situation is funny to me, and I think let's start with my Antonio side. Let's go back here. Do I think that everyone is trolling by reporting these reports? I think they're telling you what they've heard. So, that's fine. But I think they've heard these things for a reason. All right. Like, we're not dealing with a normal contract negotiation between the Nets and Kyrie right now. It's not a typical contract negotiation situation. We all know that. Kyrie's played 103 games out of the potential 300 games he could have played. He's played 103 of them. So that's like a ridiculously low percentage. It's like 1/3 of the potential games he could have played. And a lot of them, he just willingly sat out. He sat out because of the Capitol riots 2 years ago when KD first got there. He was seen at his sister's birthday party during that break. We were made to believe it was something very serious, and he was out there partying in West Orange, okay? Then he sat out because he didn't want to get vaccinated, all right? And then you add in the injuries on top of it. And a lot of this is just willingly sitting out and missing games and not coming to work, okay? So when no line of work in real life, and I've thought about this all day, I'm like, yo, if I was the best recruiter ever, but I just said, I'm going to work 1/3 of the time, my ass would be fired, all right? And then I thought, all right, well, let's make this more interesting. If I was white and I was the best recruiter ever, and I sat out 1/3, and I worked 1/3 of the available days I could potentially work on my job, I'd still get my ass fired. Like, even white privilege couldn't save me from getting fired. All right. So now here we are in this situation with Kyrie, where he's worked 1/3 of the time for the Nets. He's not available, and he wants the maximum dollar from the Brooklyn Nets. And the Nets are supposed to just cape in and say, okay, we'll give you $50 million in years 3 and 4, because that's what he'd be getting under this new contract he'd signed with the Nets. $50 million so you could potentially screw us and not play basketball again. I'm always pro player. I'm pro black athlete, especially in these situations. Get your bread. But Kyrie doesn't deserve the bread. Let's just be honest. He's not there. He's not playing. And it's a weird situation because he's at the height of his powers and he's not declining. He's still great. We all know that. And that's what makes this tricky. But if you're telling me that the Nets are supposed to cape to Kyrie Irving's demands because they're going to make KD upset, I can't really rock with that. And I'm sorry. And I'll hit you with this too. I don't understand in what world KD it doesn't understand what the Nets are doing. Like, why would it piss you off if the Nets are trying to protect themselves from this unreliable guy? Now, if that's the case, you're not even using logic. You're not sane, KD. KD's not sane. If that's what's happening, if KD's going to leave because Kyrie might be upset or be offended by the way the Nets are handling this negotiation, then every team in the league should be wary of KD too. Like, what are we talking about? We have two guys with extensive histories of injuries, right? They've both gotten hurt. Okay, we have one guy who we just don't know what to expect from him. We don't know what he's going to do. Kyrie could say tomorrow he's going to retire and go raise alpacas or something like that, so he can take over the world with the alpacas. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know. Okay, he might be a Buddhist monk. He might shave his head tomorrow and come with an arrow down his head looking at the avatar. I don't know what he's going to do tomorrow. Nothing makes sense about that guy. Nothing. But how do I rely on him as the face of my franchise? And you got to think about it too. He definitely rubbed the franchise the wrong way. In the post-game press conference after we lost to the Celtics, he will come out and say, oh, yeah, me, Kev, and Sean Marks and Joe, we're going to manage this thing together. I talked about this after it happened on the podcast, but what in his goddamn mind allowed him to think that he would be running anything after missing all the games? You're not it makes no sense. He misses games on purpose. He willfully doesn't play basketball. He screwed KD. KD should be upset, right? The Nets are furious. Think about it. We got James Harden, we got Kyrie, we got KD. When they were on the court together, we were damn near unbeatable. We were going to win a championship until Kyrie twisted an ankle, and you know what I say about the fat man's hamstring falling off his goddamn bone. We were going to win a championship, and then Kyrie's literally the next year self-implodes the entire thing by himself. He's the reason why we don't have a ring already. He's the reason why. Yet the Nets are supposed to be nice about it because they might make KD upset. That's not a good way to do business. I sound like a hypocrite. I know I'm all for making the superstars happy. I say it all the time in the show. It's a superstars league. And that's very true, but there's a lot of level of nuance to this conversation. You can't do that at the expense of your organization. You can't look like a fool in all this. If you ask me, I think that the Nets are positioning this in the public eye on purpose to make it seem like it's all KD's fault. So if something does go left, people blame KD, and they don't blame Sean Marks. So Sean Marks doesn't lose his job because it's a narrative-driven business. And Sean Marks can't wear this because he's never going to get a job again if he matches this up. So he's gonna push the hard ball bargain with Kyrie. Kyrie's gonna get what he wants. That's the reality of it. But there may be some incentives where he is like the incentive later contract, but he's gonna get most of the money he wants. It'll be protected. He'll get his money. I do believe that. And I do believe he'll play more games on the line. I don't think he's going to just miss games. But I also can't say that definitively because Kyrie's a nut. I don't know what he's going to do. But I know that the Nets, from the Nets point of view, they're protecting themselves, both from a narrative perspective and also from a financial perspective. You can't put the money into that guy and not have him play basketball games. That's ridiculous. I think anybody with 2 brain cells can see that. I get that Nets fans, we haven't experienced a lot of winnings. I get it, right? But I'm not a loser. I'm no loser. I may be a Nets fan, but I'm no loser. I'm no loser in life. So this idea that the Nets have to cape to Kyrie's commands and we have to make sure we do everything we can to keep KD. I don't care. Give Kyrie the bet. No, that's the dumbest thing ever. Why would you do that? It sets a terrible precedent for the future. There are going to be guys who watch Kyrie Irving and try to do what Kyrie Irving does. Just take days off of work for no apparent reason. Just none. It makes I sound like Stephen A. Smith, but it's true. He's actually right about this. This Kyrie thing is ridiculous. It's bad for basketball. You come to a game and Kyrie's out. Why? Because he stubbed his toe. He don't want to play. It's not even an injury a lot of times. It's just him. He saw a bird die on the sidewalk and it reminded him of how Malcolm X died. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense what Kyrie goes through his mind. None. So, no, you don't cape to Kyrie's commands. You don't do that. And the Nets have to do this the right way. And there's a right way to handle it. I still think he ends up with the Nets. I think this is all look, if you look at the teams that can potentially get him, the Lakers, he'd have to give up $30 million to go play for the Lakers. $30 million. And the signing trade's off the table because the Lakers don't have assets we want. They don't. And no one wants Russell Westbrook. We both know that. We all know that. We're all being serious. The Westbrook thing is a joke. Okay? So they don't have assets we want. He has to walk away, not opt into his contract with the Nets, and then he's taking a $30 million pay cut. Kyrie cares about the bread. Kyrie not taking a $30 million pay cut. He lost $17 million last year. He wasn't too happy about it, even though it was his fault. So I'm pretty sure there's just not a market for him out there. It's not a realistic one. He ends up back with the Nets. I don't see how it works out any other way. If we're being realistic about it, if you really think about it, and the Knicks don't want dude. The Knicks want Jaden Ivey. The Knicks are willing to give up the farm for Jaden Ivey. That's where they're going. So that's not an option either. And the Clippers are not an actual option either because there's nothing they would give back in return that would match the value. Nothing. You don't run the risk of breaking those two up if you can avoid it, but you don't kiss Kyrie's behind in the process. You don't reward ineptitude. You don't reward guys who don't show up. Availability is everything in sports. I think anyone who plays sports knows that. If you're not available, what are they going to do? They're going to replace you. That's the way it works at every level, So that's my 2 cents on it. I know I've been rambling, but I don't know.
I think they ultimately end up kissing his behind. I don't think Kyrie goes anywhere. And on the simple fact, the team that's mentioned, they're all mentioned. You got to add a third team in the mix. You got to try to do this, match the salary cap with this player and that player. It's too many moving parts to make it happen for Kyrie to end up in the Lakers and the Clippers, and the Knicks don't want mans. The Knicks
they made it clear. The Knicks don't want him.
They don't want mans.
Without saying it, they've made it very clear.
And I know Kyrie want to stay home. Ultimately,
also, Tone, if he did this in Madison Square Garden, if he did what he did with the Nets in Madison Square Garden, how would it go? What would happen?
10 times worse.
Come on, Julius Randle sneezed the wrong way, and they booted him for like the whole season. Okay, that's all he did. He just looked a certain way. He had those tight ass braids in. They got tight. They're like, we don't want to look at this guy no more. And they gonna start booing him. In all seriousness, he played bad. Okay, he was available. Julius Randle was there every day. They booed him off the damn floor. He was crying. He was crying all year, booing the fans back. What are they gonna do to Kyrie Irving if he's not showing up to work? What, for no reason? Because he felt like Malcolm X's ancestor came to him in his sleep, touched him on his forehead, and said, "Don't go to work today. This is how you get the revolution started." Are you kidding me, brother? That's crazy. Kyrie over here showing dashikis and all that stuff. Like he's doing something. You're not doing nothing. What are you talking about? It's a joke. It's a joke, bro. Like it's so upsetting. It's so upsetting. I wouldn't mind. In all seriousness, I wouldn't mind if the Nets lost Kyrie Irving. I wouldn't be that upset. I'll be honest with you. I just think that now is not the time because there's no star in return to get in the sign and trade, and his value is at its lowest because he hasn't played games. So get him on a contract. Don't give him a no trade clause. I'm sure you won't get one. And if we have to trade and bail out, then fine. If it doesn't craps out, fine. But I'd like to think they could win a championship at some point if this guy can just be available. We'll see if that happens. I'm as skeptical as anybody else, but I know that he'll get the deal signed because the market's not there for him. It's just not realistic,
You think Bradley Beal would be an option if Kyrie walks and Brad declines his player option too?
Yeah.
Because I also read that Durant's not really recruiting any free agents right now.
I saw that too.
Which,
Interesting.
You could take that two different ways. You could take it that, all right, he's not really interested right now, or he's waiting and seeing what happens with this whole Kyrie situation to try to pivot off and see if he can get another star to come in and play with him.
I thought hard about this, about all the reports we've been hearing, and I thought about it from another team's perspective in the NBA, what I'd want out of these rumors. And it makes sense, actually. If I'm another team in the NBA, why wouldn't I want the other players in the league to think that there's crazy dysfunction going on with the Nets? Why wouldn't I? It serves my purpose. Oh, Kyrie might leave. Kyrie might go to the Lakers. KD hasn't talked to the front office in 4 weeks since the season's ended. KD is not recruiting free agents. He's just very disengaged. He's upset. It all works to their favor. The free agency is about to start, I believe, in a week. So if you have everyone thinking the NBA, that the Nets are in disarray, then the Nets don't get these guys. What's been happening the last couple of years? Every mid-level free agent that comes out, possible, the Nets get them. Like, that's the way it works. It's pissing off the league. No one's rooting for the Nets. So I just think there's a lot of gamesmanship going on in the NBA. I think that a lot of team executives are talking to these guys like the Windhorse, the Wojs, trying to sabotage the Nets. And it makes sense because I would do the same thing. But why wouldn't I do it? It makes all sense in the world. Who wants the Nets to get PJ Tucker? Who wants it to happen? No one. Okay, will it happen? Probably when everything's all right, like at the end of the day. But no, I mean, I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of gamesmanship going on there. I do think that a Brad Beal would probably he'd be stupid not to consider it. He got a guy who's going to pass him the ball over and over again because that's all he does. He's got another guy who can get a bucket whenever he wants. It's a good situation for him. Go get a ring. But I don't think that. Look, I think Kyrie's staying. I just do. I think Kyrie is the Nets issue to deal with for the next 4 years, and I can sort of sign up for that. I can't if we have the incentives in the contract. I feel more comfortable if we get him to sign a deal that makes sense for the team and protects the team. Because honestly, I'm putting the team first over Kyrie Irving. Kyrie ain't maybe a Nets fan. He's not. He'll never be.
So what happens though? Oh, my bad, Tone, but
go ahead.
If this whole thing just blows up in the next like couple weeks,
yeah,
and then the Nets have to pivot now, and if KD doesn't want to be there, you got to get the most possible for him.
Yeah.
What would be the best scenario for a trade? It'd be
for a very hypothetical KD trade. That's like we're talking about 3 chess moves down the board, but I don't know.
You gotta start thinking about it, because I mean,
I'm not thinking about that.
I didn't see this Kyrie thing. Coming.
Who did? Why? Wait, why was this not predictable? Why?
Well, seeing him declining his player option to,
he was supposed to do that. That was the point. He can't get the max unless he declines the player option. That's the way it works. He can't get the $50 million a year unless he declines the player option. He can sign the player option if he wants and extend from there, but it won't be as much money. That's the way the math works out.
Yeah, but couldn't he also accept the player option, play next year, play better, and then increase his max deal?
I don't know. I think he's kind of at that tier where you max it out because it's $50 million a year. He probably could make more, and you're probably right.
Yeah,
I don't know the exact math.
If he decided to do the 1 year, ball it out, and play actually more than 12 games,
right,
that money will look a little bit longer.
Yeah,
maybe not significant, but it'll be a nice little extra at that back end.
I don't think anyone will have a problem with that, but Kyrie's not going to do that because Kyrie gets hurt all the goddamn time. Mm-hmm. So Kyrie's not going to sign a deal, you know what I mean, where he a 1 year deal where he's banking on his health for a year. It's just not. It's a risky proposition for him. But all right, fine. Let's do your doomsday situation. Fine. Let's say Kyrie's gone. Whatever happened, got a bag of chips for him, and now you got KD who wants to walk out of the door. You're gonna get a haul for KD. You're gonna get a haul. I mean, picks. You're gonna get good players left and right. My ideal situation is one young, really talented superstar type guy, and then a bunch of some role players and a bunch of picks. That's the idea. That's the idea you want there. I mean, a Tyrese Halliburton type, like a guy like that, someone who's coming up, who's really, really good. I don't know what team is in a position to make that trade. Anybody who trade for KD is in a win now situation, obviously. But then I want all your picks in the future because you're going to suck eventually because KD's in the back end. So I want all your picks in the future. And that's what would happen. I mean, the Nets are positioned nicely because they gave him that extension. And that's actually in a position of leverage, in my opinion, because if KD wasn't extended right now, then I understand the panic by Nets fans. But he's extended. So even if he wants to leave, we still get something in return for him. It's going to be huge because people know who KD is. So it's not a bad situation. You're going to sustain something here and still have a good team, even if there was a doomsday situation. But again, the Nets fans, it's not going to happen. And again, to the world, to Lakers fans who are blowing up my phone, it's not going to happen. You're not getting you're not getting Kyrie. And there's a part of me that wishes you did because I want to see Bron get another ring really bad. But it's not going to happen. It's not. It's unfortunately you're stuck with the Mr. Westbrook himself.
If it came to that point, one trade I think would make sense because I know he'll have a say in where he goes also. Send him back to Golden State. Send me Jordan Poole. Yep. Wiggins about to get paid, so that the money will cover right there. Send me Wiggins.
No, don't
Jordan Poole. I'm saying money-wise, the money gonna have to line up.
I just don't want that guy.
The money.
I don't want Wiggins. Can we have an honest discourse about Andrew Wiggins real quick? If Andrew Wiggins,
he's not a max. He's not a max guy. Andrew Wiggins is not a max player.
Not just that though. All right, like the praise is cool. I'm happy for that guy. It's nice seeing him smiling, looking all high out of his mind, holding the championship. That's great. But can we relax? All-Star starter was a joke. Like, come on, guys. It was a joke. And beyond that, Andrew Wiggins didn't do anything different than he's done in the past in his career. He's doing this stuff in Minnesota. The defense was a noticeably different thing. He tried. He was trying defensively. Great. But offensively, Andrew Wiggins been about a bucket. It's just been really inefficient. And he wasn't the most efficient guy. He had his ups and downs with the Warriors. He was a third option on that team the most of the year. third, fourth. Like, that's what did we expect from a guy who's a former number 1 overall pick? That's the least of what we should have expected from that guy. You put him in a great ecosystem in that system. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. If he did anything else, what else? What are we gonna call him? We're gonna call him A double snakes. I can't curse on the podcast. We're gonna call him. We're gonna put it together. We know what we're gonna call him. It's and to be right. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what he's supposed to do. So I want to have an honest discourse about Andrew Wiggins. All right, he did what he's supposed to do. It's a nice story. It's great to see him smiling. Great for Canada. Awesome. Great. Maple Jordan. Awesome. Whatever. But he ain't a max guy, and he ain't somebody that he's not ringing bells around the NBA like that. Like he's not one of them dudes. All right. I'd pay Jordan Poole if I were them. That's a whole different conversation.
He already came out and said they're planning on bringing everybody back. So that luxury tax,
but I would pay it.
They about to.
If you're the bread,
the thing that's funny, they've led the last 3 years in payroll. The only team that's been close to them behind them is the Nets.
Yeah, the Nets. Yeah. It doesn't always work out. See how it goes. But it makes sense. You pay all your guys, bring them back. It's a good thing they got going. But we all know year to year things change. It's not easy to repeat, and it's really not easy when the Warriors didn't always look like definitively the best team in the NBA. It didn't always look that way. They're ups and they're downs. So, they enjoy the ring. We can talk about the Steph Curry. Well, I don't know. We talk about Steph Curry enough, but I know you were bringing up a point. I interrupted you. You were saying something. Oh, yeah. The trade, the hypothetical trade.
Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, and throwing that Kuminga or something like that. Like, that's the type of trade had to be some young pieces. Yeah. One kind of like right now ready player.
I'll be honest though, I don't like that deal as much because I really want like a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or somewhere. I just want a guy like that, and none of those guys are like that. You know what I mean? But it's a good deal though, and if you had to deal on the Golden State, I could live with that package. It's something like that. The doomsday situation in the Nets is not that bad. We'd still be good. We would still be a playoff team even after all this is over, even after the smoke and the dust settles, and we'd be highly more functional. All right, without KD and Kyrie being there, but give me the dysfunction and winning a bunch of games and a chance to win a championship. I'll take it, but don't sell me on this. We got to please Kyrie crap. I just don't want to hear that. It makes me so upset to read all these Nets fans bagging on Sean Marks because Sean Marks is doing his job the right way doing his job the right way because he's a damn good GM. He's done a good job. So I don't want to hear that, bro.
Before we transition, one of our followers, shout out to No Limit Walt, asked us to talk on this topic, and I don't think it'll be something that, is a deep discussion, but we appreciate any time the followers ask us to talk about something. So you ask, we're going to talk about it. Is Kyrie a top 5 player in the NBA? Throw out some stats. Kyrie Irving's 2-point field goal percentage hasn't been lower than 50% since 2014, 2015. His 3-point percentage hasn't been lower than 39% since 2015, 2016. His free throw percentage has only been lower than 86% once in his 11-season career. Is he top 5 in the NBA?
No. He's not available.
Yeah.
Pause, super pause. I agree. Top 5 talent, but he is not a top 5 player. DeJounte Murray has been traded for John Collins. Hawks and Spurs blockbuster trade.
Whoa! Why my phone not? Hold on. Can you re-announce that? What?
It's not settled yet, but the rumor is that it's looking very likely it is going to be Collins for DeJounte Murray, and they're figuring out, I guess, the other pieces that go with it.
I'm sure this pick's involved. That's a weird trade for the Spurs.
I think for the Hawks too.
Maybe they see
the Hawks is a great trade for the Hawks. I like it for the Hawks.
To what? Take off the pressure for Trae Young?
A Drew Holiday type, maybe.
Because you need someone to defend the other team's best player. Yeah. DeJounte brings that right away. So now you take a lot of pressure off to Trae Young. Guys can't just go at Trae Young all day. You know what I mean? So I like that a lot because it gives you a defensive edge. The Hawks don't play a lick of defense. That was their problem last year. We all know that. So you give him that. You give another guy. Now Trae can be off ball, which is really interesting because and I don't think he wants to do that, by the way. He's immature. Trae's immature. But if he's off ball, it opens up a whole different part of his game. Mm-hmm. Running behind screens, dribble handoffs, getting easy threes, more efficient looks. Then he's working too hard now for buckets. he wouldn't have to work as hard. It'd be really interesting. Although it could implode too, because those two playing together, it'd be interesting. But I do like the fit on paper.
Yeah, they're working on it. It came across my screen. It hasn't been finalized, but
Best league in the world. Best league in the world.
Oh, draft night about to go.
It's about to go crazy. Bunch of trades.
Crazy. But before we're all on the same page, Kyrie's not top 5.
Kyrie's not top 5. I think we all have the same reasoning, right? Miles, what's yours?
Hell no. I don't think has he ever been top 5 in the NBA?
No.
So why would that change when he's played like
12 games,
a full season in games in like a 3-season span? So
right.
I don't think so.
The better question is who is top 5. That's a better question if Kyrie's top 5. We appreciate the support though. I like the fact you sent the question in.
Well, I feel like Bron he'll be top 5 until he's done playing. Like
it goes without saying. You wanted me to give it to you in no order? I think it's Giannis, Bron, Jokic. What are you saying? Jokic.
KD got to be.
KD. No, of course, KD. We got 4 right there, and Steph.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that list.
No.
Can't argue with that list.
That's the top 5. And Kyrie's nowhere near it, unfortunately. Kyrie played more games. You can talk about it. You don't play.
I think the same conversation with Embiid. If Embiid played more games, you probably put him in the top 5. But
I put Jokic over Embiid. That's nuts.
That's my point. Jokic shows up. Jokic has consistency.
But can I also say this though about Embiid? It's because Embiid, just raising canes in the area near where he practices, and he's overweight. Okay, like so I understand, by the way. Okay, like look, if I were in a situation, I don't think I'd be any different. I can't fault these guys. If there's a raising canes in the area, I'm making $100 million. Life is good. So I get hurt. Oh well.
Yo,
for raising canes, I'll sustain some injury. That's special.
That's the point. Jokic came in tip-top shape last year. He lost some weight, so
he's out there eating whatever the hell Serbians eat.
Maybe Embiid need to do the same thing. And we just alluded to it. Draft night is going to go crazy. What's the biggest thing, the biggest headline you're looking forward to for draft night tomorrow?
Shoot, I need the Knicks to make a move. They need to make a move up the board. Stop being so patient with all this. And if you really like a guy and he's a top talent like Jaden Ivey, you got to give up something for him. So you got to give the King something. If it takes IQ, if it takes OB,
RJ
picks, they're not giving up RJ. If it takes
God forbid, you're right.
If they take, why would we give up RJ when we could give him up for a way bigger player? So that's you're gonna make me sit up. All right.
I don't understand what RJ brings back in the trade. I just don't get it. I don't know what he brings back in the trade. I'm just curious. I'm sorry. A bigger piece. I'm just confused. I don't. We're not on the same page here.
I mean, when you talk about obviously, if we were going after Donovan Mitchell, he'd have to be included in that.
Does the team on the other end want RJ Barrett though? That's the question.
Yeah,
I'd rather.
Would RJ Barrett and picks? Why wouldn't you take that?
I feel like I'll be honest with you. There are times where I feel like I sit down and I think to myself, I could be an NBA guy. I could be an NBA scout. I could be an NBA front office guy. I could be. I think I could really do the job. I really do. And the thing that I think about is like I would rather have IQ. I'd rather have OB. I'd rather have give me Quentin Grimes. I'm not saying Quentin Grimes is better than RJ. I'm not saying he's better than RJ. I'm just saying give me those guys. Just give me those guys.
That's it, yo. That's it.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Quentin Grimes is better than RJ Barrett. I'm just saying give me those guys, especially IQ. If you give me IQ, I'm happy. And then a bunch of picks. I think we can make this deal happen. That's all I'm saying. I think IQ is going to be a guy in the conversation with the Tyrese Maxey and Tyler Hero, that type of player, real soon. I think he's going to be really good. But RJ, I'm not as high on. So, and I feel like I can't be the only guy who feels this way. I just can't. I can't. There's just no way.
You're not. That's the thing. But people eat their words all the time. So, but anyways, back to the draft.
All right, motivational
speaker. So I think the Knicks need to make a move, whether that's trading all those Dallas picks, one of our picks, one of our young players, whether that be like Cam Reddish or IQ, to get into that 4th or 5th spot, so we ensure that we get Ivy. Because, I mean, hearing his comments, he clearly doesn't want to play for the Kings. And I don't know anybody who wants to go play for the Kings. He purposely didn't work out for them this draft period. I mean, if you're a top player, why would I want to work out for you? Like, nothing's worked out for them since Mike Bibby and Doug Christie days. So
They suck.
They suck. And they're gonna suck. So if that's
other thing too,
we
the
haven't
other thing too with Sacramento is like, exactly, you got De'Aaron Fox. They drafted Davion Mitchell last year. I get the Knicks probably have to trade up, but in the other aspect, like Greg's talking about being a scout, of making sense, why would y'all draft him anyway? This is how terrible the organization is, that the Knicks have to trade up because the Kings might stupidly draft Ivy anyway.
And look, I was reading somewhere they said, don't think they won't pick him because they didn't work out Davion Mitchell and they didn't work out Tyrese Halliburton in those drafts, and they still took him. So it's one of those things where, I mean, I get it. As a GM, you got to take the top talent when you're up at the top of the draft to try to ensure that you're not there in the future. But
it's ass backwards what they've done.
Yeah.
The Hawks just don't operate the right way. I mean, the Hawks, them too. But the Kings don't operate the right way. Having 3 guards back there is ridiculous. And even Davion Mitchell, I love Davion Mitchell. I think he's going to be really good. But, like, you have him and De'Aaron Fox. You let go of Tyrese Halliburton. Like, you let that happen. That's insane. That's insane. Like, they're a terrible organization that doesn't deserve good things, and they're terribly run. Okay?
Probably the Kings probably have to be the worst ran organization in the league.
Yeah.
You got the Kings up there, Orlando's up in that mix. They've been a shell of themselves after Dwight left, after Shaq left. Like, these are I don't blame some of these players. Like, some of these players, I wish they had the cachet and the ability to pull like an Eli Manning, like, I'm not playing for you, trade me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think Ivy, I hope he ends up with the Knicks. I really do. I hope he ends up with the Knicks. That's my actual hope. I just would like to, like, turn the channel to MSG one night before I go to the gym and, like, enjoy to watch basketball in MSG for once. Like, it'd be nice to have him. And he'd be the first good point guard they've had in my entire life, which is something. So I'm rooting for that to happen. I think somehow the Knicks are going to mess this thing up. Don't look. If I'm the Knicks, I'll keep it a buck with you. I'm including RJ in conversations. I'm making them open for conversation. Yo, I'm moving on. I'll give you RJ. I need a point guard. Okay. The reality is RJ's not a championship piece. Okay. I think we just come on. He's not. Okay. So I need a point guard more. It's the point guard's game. Am I right? You guys can both agree. I'm right. Point guard, it's a point guard's game. We need a point guard. He's going to drive the car. So bring Jaden Ivey along and then build from there. That's your franchise guy. You get him. You're set, bro. Like, you're good. Like, the Knicks will be good again. It's going to happen if you can get a guy like him on your team. That's the thing they haven't done in God knows how long. Hey, was it you who sent that to the group chat that they haven't re-signed the guy off their rookie deal since like 1955?
Not 1955.
It wasn't that far back.
Charlie Ward.
Who?
Charlie Ward.
Didn't he play football, Charlie Ward? Who?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, FSU, that guy?
Yeah.
That guy.
Yo, TVs was black and white last time y'all did that, John. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Charlie Ward was in color. Chill out.
Right.
Charlie Ward was not in color. That dude was living in no color. Yo, that's great. Yo, football guy. Yo.
Yeah.
That's
Florida State University, Charlie Ward.
Quarterback, right?
Yeah.
That's madness. Y'all over here signing
madness.
quarterbacks.
He was good in 2 sports.
Nah. You signing quarterbacks to rookie extensions. Yo, that's crazy. Hey, no, for real, Miles. I think you got to do the Knicks to do whatever possible, whatever they need to do to move to number 4 or 3. Move. Well, you're not getting a 3. because those 3 guys are locked. But the 4, do whatever you can to get to 4. That's what the draft starts at number 4. So I hope they do whatever they need to do, even if RJ's off the table, which I don't think he should be.
You think Jabari Smith is a lock?
I'd like to be good.
I don't think so.
No, I'm talking about number 1. Jabari Smith at number 1.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's gonna be Chet. Honestly, I think it's gonna be Chet.
Run the tape back. Didn't I say that? And you disagreed. You definitely told me he wasn't going number 1. Oh,
I can be wrong, right? I can still be wrong. It could be Jabari.
Chet going number 1. He's the most special unicorn type guy. You take a chance on him. Chet's that guy. I told y'all.
But that's the thing, though. It's Orlando. Can they afford to keep taking chances and not hitting on things? Because they got about 5 point guards they've drafted in the last 2 years.
Well, that's why you don't go point guard here. You're not going point guard. Either way, with all 3 choices you could make, you're not going point guard.
No.
And so that's not a problem. And also, Jalen Suggs may not be that dude. I don't know. I have real concerns. But I think Chet's the most special player. Look, when you're at number 1, it's like a crapshoot. You're rolling dice. You just got to keep rolling until you get a good number. And in this case, that's you take Chet, betting on the ability, betting on everything he brings to the table because he's special. He's special. Everything he can do, the way he moves at that size, it's just not. It's once in like every 15 years you find a guy kind of like that. And Jabari, I like Jabari, but Jabari's a little more stagnant in his game. He's not as fluid. Off the dribble, he's not as fluid as a Chet Holmgren. He don't got the same bag off the dribble. He's not a great shot creator off the dribble, right?
Kind of like Jaren Jackson. He's like Jaren Jackson.
He's a lot like Jaren Jackson, but a better shooter than Jaren Jackson. He's gonna be good. He's a lock to be good. Now, superstar, I don't know about that, and I don't see it for him ever. I'll be honest, but I hope I'm wrong. But I see superstar on the table for 2 guys, Chet and Paolo. Paolo could be a superstar too. Paolo creates the dribble so well at 6'10", and he's so fluid. And he's so strong. I think he has a real chance to be special. I think him and Houston would be a nice fit.
I still think I don't get why he's not getting talked about more for number 1.
He could be, yeah. I think he should be
talented offensively right now.
Yeah.
And that's what they need. They need a player who can create his own offense. They got guards. They could bring back Mo Bamba. They still got Jonathan Isaac, but they don't have a guy like Paolo on their team who can create their own offense in the low post. Got a jump shot too. But
how special?
Yeah. What do y'all think the order's going to be? Like top 5 at least. Who's going where?
Chet 1, Paolo 2, I think. Which puts him where? Paolo 2 puts him in
OKC.
Okay. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I hope he goes to Houston then.
I want him to go to Houston. So I think he wants to go to Houston too. He's angling for Houston. I think that's really what it is too. I think that's where he would like to be. But Jabari at 3, Ivy at 4, whoever the hell ends up in 4. Ivy's going to be at 4, guys. I mean, it's a lot. And the draft gets really interesting at 5 because there's a bunch of guys who can go 5 that are really, really good. There's a lot of lottery's interesting. It's pretty deep.
Who's the best fit for Detroit? That's 5.
That's what they do in free agency. They're trying to go after Miles Bridges, I heard, and they want to go after number 8.
They're going after 8.
8 and 2, yeah. They need a wing. I like Sadiq Bey. I shouldn't even say that. I like him a lot. He can be really good, but you can never have enough wings that are good.
What about the guy from Iowa?
Yeah, I think Keegan Murray. Yeah. What's the dude from Indiana? Davis. Johnny Davis. I think he's from Indiana. The guard, light skinned guard, 6'5".
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. And same. What's the difference? Yeah, they all the same. Yeah, I think that he could be a guy they target at that spot too. A good 2. There'll be a lot of surprise picks. There's a lot of guys we don't really know about too well that are going to be in that range. There'll be a lot of surprise guys like, this guy went here. Where's he from? All right, let's watch his tape. Like, it'll be a lot of if you're a fan of a team in the lottery, you're going to spend that night watching a bunch of film on a guy you never heard of because that's kind of what this draft is made up of after that top 4.
Miles, Kentucky man, where do you think Shaedon Sharpe goes and Ty Washington?
Shaedon Sharpe is interesting.
I mean, Ty Washington, I think, will go top 20.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a really talented point guard, although a lot of the season last year he was playing combo because we had another little guard that we wanted to get minutes to. So you didn't really get to see how he could play running point in flashes, but not what you'd want to see in 1 year in college. And then he was hurt. So you don't really get a good glimpse of what he can do. So I think he's one of those guys who, like most Kentucky guys, once they get to the pros, they can perform a little better because, I mean, let's face it, Calipari kind of holds something back from his players when they come there. He kind of wants them to play their role in the system. And then Shaedon Sharpe. I mean, it's sad that he didn't get a chance to play any minutes at Kentucky. Like, this season would have been so different if he played. And I think he's one of the most talented wings in this draft, if not the most talented wing in this draft. But, I mean, it's tough. The only tape you have to go off of right now is his EYBL tape from like 2 years ago. And
That tape is not
how
flat.
are you supposed to take a guy top 5 with that? Like, I'd say Detroit. Take a chance on him and develop him because, I mean, the talent is there. The talent is there. They got
but
what?
Don't play with Cade's career, bro. That's the MVP of the league. That's my next favorite player when LeBron's gone. Don't play with his career. And I say that because I have a lot of concerns about Shaedon Sharpe. Like, even not about the talent, but in the way that he talks about himself. Like, him saying he sees himself as like being the greatest player of all time or whatever. He said something ridiculous. And look, you're not a Bron level prospect, and even a Bron level prospect didn't say that. Like, he's not polished in what he says and how he presents himself. He's not polished, and defensively, he is god awful. I mean, I know AAU no one plays defense, but like, I'm gonna send you to a bad team where you're gonna lose a lot of nights, and I know you're not gonna play defense. It's gonna be hard to really uncondition you from not playing defense. You know what I mean? Like, I worry about that. Offensively, he can do everything. He's talented as all. I don't doubt that, but it's a big learning curve. He's basically coming out of high school, right? That's what he's doing. So I have worries about him. I'd have to do a lot of digging into who he is as a person, how his mind works, how hard he actually works. I think he's one of those guys. Look, he's been very vocal on social media and posting a lot of the workouts he's doing and all that stuff, and that's cool. But like, I don't know, bro. He just really, really worries me. He really worries me as a prospect because of the stuff that makes him tick, the internal stuff. It's not the talent; it's the internal stuff for me. That I've been really paying attention to him, especially. I want to see where he goes, but I don't know.
What y'all think his player comp is? Like, what's his ceiling?
Zach LaVine, maybe?
I think a Jason Tatum type offensive talent.
Who?
That's what I kind of see for him.
I wasn't gonna go that high, but
I think he can do everything. And I haven't watched him like, so he hasn't played. He has no college film. I don't know if what he would have shot from 3-point line this year. It's a lot of context missing, but there's nothing he can't do. He's got the frame to do everything on the court. It's a matter of, are you wired the right way to actually tap into that? We've seen plenty of talented guys come into the league, a la Andrew Wiggins. We just talked about him. Like, it's the same thing. Like, Andrew Wiggins was missing something to be the guy for a team. He was missing it. Like, and he needed to be where he is to take the most out of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But with this guy, there's even more questions. At least Andrew Wiggins went to college and dominated. This guy didn't even do that. Like, I don't know that I can trust. I can't put a top 5 pick on him when I know there's some guys like, I would like the guy like Dalen Terry from Arizona, for example. Like, I like him. Like, what I'm talking about that you have to have, he has. Like, I know he has. He's him. Like, he has that. But I don't know that this guy Sharpe has it. I'm just worried about that. Like, I hope I'm wrong. He's so talented. It'd be nice to have another great player in the league. But I think if all things go right, he's like a Jason Tatum level offensive talent. But Miles, take Miles' word over mine, because I think that the Zach LaVine comp is just more reasonable. I'm putting a lot on his shoulders, and he ain't even played in like a year and a half. So we'll see.
Ron Harper Jr.
Undrafted.
I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate it. All the Jersey guys go undrafted, but he's like 250, 270. And he's I don't know what he is. He's just a big dude. but he's also, he's a tweener. He doesn't have a real position. He's not a 2, he's a 3. And the NBA now is split positionless. It works out in his favor. But the real question is, are you a good enough shooter and are you a good enough defender to really make a name for yourself in the NBA? His job in the NBA is never going to be a star guy. It's going to be a PJ Tucker type. That's what I see for him. Can you use that big frame to body up bigs and, provide post defense for your team and make corner threes at a high level? Can you do that? If you can do that, cool. Well, I think you have a spot in the NBA. If you can't, it's not happening for you, bro. So that's that. He's a role guy. He's a role player. Hopefully we're having a different conversation in 4 years or 5 years about his brother, because his brother's really good.
Any other names that y'all looking forward to that stick out? Any sleeper picks that you might, second round, late first round, that is actually going to be good if they, kind of like a Jordan Poole. They get on one of these playoff teams, they're going to make an impact and help one of these teams with the lower picks.
Like, looking at it, Jaden Hardy, he's kind of fallen off a little bit from what people thought.
Did you see his shooting numbers in the G League, bro?
I know. But
oh my God,
he's a scorer, though. So if you can try to...
how you shoot like that and you're a scorer, though? That's what I'm saying. You're supposed to be good at that.
Instead of going to college, he was playing with grown men. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. Things are going to be a little more challenging than it would be at the college level. Like, let's be frank. But I'd say either him. I like Wendell Moore from Duke. I think he plays the game the right way. He doesn't try to do too much. He can make plays off the dribble. He plays defense. And then the point guard from Gonzaga, Nembhard.
I like Nembhard a lot too.
I think he's someone who he can step into a playoff team and be kind of like a Tyus Jones for that team. And he'll run point off the bench, play the right
threes too.
Yeah. And I think he's one of the better, safer prospects in this draft, because I don't think he's going to do too much. He knows his role. He knows how to get people to their spots. So
yeah,
those are my three guys.
Trevor Keels from Duke is interesting. I liked him since the first time I saw him. I'm not off that train. I think he's good. And the guy Dyson Daniels is not a late round pick. I like him a lot too, and no one talks about him. I like Dyson Daniels too. I think he can be really good. There's gonna be some guys that go in this draft that are gonna be like a D-Book type, like maybe not superstars or D-Book may not be a superstar, so whatever. But all-star get type guys. There'll be some all-star type guys that go late in this lottery, late in the first round. It could happen that way. It's that kind of draft. The talent's there. It's just there's just a lot of names you don't know of because college basketball wasn't very exciting. So I'm not gonna say you're imposed to the fan base we have or whatever. The people who listen that I was locked into every guy, but some of the guys I saw that I liked was Trevor Keels. I like Trevor Keels a lot. The Dyson Daniels guy, I've been watching him a little bit. I like him a lot too. There's some good talent. There's some good talent all over the place. But those are some names. And obviously, I think Miles took all my thunder. He took all the guys I would have said. And Nembhard's really good. I like him a lot too. And I think he could be a really good player in the NBA for a long time. That's kind of where he kind of what it looks like. And Gonzaga's a winning program, so he's gonna bring that to wherever he goes. But my worries about Shaedon Sharpe, just please remember I said it, because I just if I was picking that high, and I've been there as a Nets fan, I don't know that that's the guy that I'd want if I was up there.
I think he's the biggest unknown in this draft right now, because I mean, for a guy to come to college early, and of course you see the mock drafts and you see, all right, if I leave now, before anybody sees what I could do at the college level and have hesitation, let me leave and get this bag. He was smart. He was smart. Because who knows? He could have played for Kentucky, and people see the weaknesses against better competition. Because let's face it, EYBL, I mean, all the top prospects should dominate down there. So
not just that,
but
it's like next year's class is gonna have guys like Isaiah. What's it called? Dariq Whitehead. He looks like Isaiah White. He looks like Isaiah Whitehead though. He do like, but Dariq Whitehead will be in the class next year. He's gonna be probably number one guy, like top 2, top 3. There's just a lot more guys funneling into this next class and the next few classes. The Wagners, the McCains, Jared McCains. it's gonna get tricky next couple of years. There's gonna be some big names coming out that people know about and or have a lot of hype behind them. And you don't want to get caught up in that hype train in one of those classes. So you secure your bag. Someone will pick him in top 15. It gives me Michael Porter Jr. type vibe to Shaedon Sharpe, if I think about it. Like just the same level of questions I had about him coming out. I feel the same way about Shaedon Sharpe, but even more unsure about Shaedon Sharpe. I feel like Michael Porter Jr. played a little bit in college. Or maybe did he not play at all? I don't know. But I can't even remember. Like that's the thing. But it's just the same level of questions. He was injured. That's what it was. He had the back injuries. And obviously it's come back to bite him in the butt now. But I don't know, bro. I'm really uneasy about him. I'll be interested in seeing. I'm locked in the whole draft to see what's happening because it's going to be a lot of interesting stuff. And beyond the draft, just like the trades and the stuff that's going to happen around the league, it's going to be a big shakeup, I feel like. And Kyrie probably signs his deal tomorrow. Who knows?
Sidebar, don't know if DeJounte actually gets traded because reports is San Antonio wants a Drew Holiday-like package. And I don't think San Antonio is getting that type of haul for DeJounte Murray.
The better question is, why would you trade DeJounte Murray? What's going on behind closed doors that makes you want to deal that guy? You don't have much to begin with. Why are you trying to trade it? So there's a problem there. Something's not right. Why would you? San Antonio doesn't give away talent. That's not what they do. So if you're doing that.
Maybe DeJounte did it the right way behind closed doors and kind of wants out.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like powerful.
Wants to be in a better market, maybe have a better situation than San Antonio. We know Pop got 3-4 years maybe left coaching, but they're not going to win no chip anytime soon. Maybe he wants to be in a winning situation.
Yeah, see that. I don't know. Getting coached by Pop is a hell of a basketball accomplishment in the resume, and being able to play for him and start for him, that means something. So hopefully he ends up in a good spot. He's a hell of a player. Defensively, offensively, he's turned himself into a really good player. So, and if he ends up in the Hawks, it's a great fit. It's a great fit. But I don't think he ends up. What's the package? Like, it ain't. John Collins is nice, but that's not the package. It's got to be another team out there that can offer something pretty cool around that.
Last name to throw out there, and we probably don't even got to discuss this, but we mentioned Ron Harper, and he might be drafted, might be undrafted. A name that's actually in the mix too. It's two names, but we already know one is definitely not getting drafted. Julian Newman, the internet sensation, has entered his name into the He's in that mix. We already know the vibes with that. But a name that's more well-known that has entered the draft, and his pops actually was not in agreement of him entering the draft, is Shareef O'Neal. Shareef O'Neal has entered the draft. Another player we haven't seen really much anything in almost 2-3 years. I don't know if he gets drafted. I think he gets on one of those, undrafted, gets invited to training camp, is on a summer league team, and goes that route. I don't think he gets drafted.
I don't see it either. The heart surgery too. There's a lot of concern. I mean, I don't. If you're an MVP, you know how these things go in the draft. They're gonna use the heart surgery against him, unfortunately, and then I don't think he never seemed to crack a rotation in college. I didn't see a lot of them at LSU, at UCLA. I didn't see him, so it's an uphill battle for these superstars' sons, to Zaire Wade of the world, and him, and hopefully it's not the same for Bronny, but we'll see. I think Bronny.
Is there any one that we can name that actually lived up to somewhat?
Not that I know of.
Like, we know Jordan's kids didn't do it.
I knew you were going to start bringing up Jordan's kids. Jordan's a degenerate.
I can't think of nobody.
Nah, I don't. There's no name that comes to mind. Seriously.
Maybe Klay Thompson. His pops played. Michael Thompson played on the Lakers.
Michael Thompson wasn't good.
He wasn't good.
Oh. Look at his numbers, bro. He averaged like 10 points against Plumbers.
Now it's Plumbers. He came after the Plumbers.
Did he come after? He was playing with Jordan, wasn't he? With Jordan at the same time, or was he before Jordan's time?
He was. I think he was on the same squad with Magic in them when he was getting.
Oh, even worse. Magic was just throwing the ball at his face and he's scoring easy baskets in transition. I mean, he wasn't good. What are we talking about? He was just tall and athletic. If you were calling athletic, you were winning a chip with the Lakers back then because my Magic was going to be dishing you all crazy.
So nobody then.
It's really nobody. He ain't no star, and Del Curry wasn't no star either. And we know Steph came out of nowhere. So it ain't that. It ain't. Maybe Del's new kid with his new wife will be a superstar
right now. Jeez.
Or new girl, whatever.
That's a nasty situation too.
That is. It really is.
They switch spouses.
Weird,
that's a nasty situation.
They're tainting the. It's crazy, man. I mean, what a wholesome child you've had. He's over here dancing to Andy Mineo and his championship thing, and the wholesome child, you know. And then you got your parents over here exchanging partners. It's the weirdest thing in the world.
Crazy.
And I want our listeners that listen. There's nothing wrong to dancing to Andy Mineo.
Didn't say it was. I didn't say that.
Against the belief of these two on the show.
I never said that.
Wrong with Andy Mineo. These two on the show, they don't have him on his playlist, on their playlist, but ain't nothing wrong with Andy Mineo.
I didn't say that.
Overpaid, new segment alert. Overpaid, underpaid, or paid just right. Minkah Fitzpatrick, highest paid safety, NFL. Is that contract that he just got, was he overpaid, underpaid, or paid just right?
I think paid just right. Because what he brought for that defense, you know, it was felt immediately. He was in a bad situation playing out of position in Miami. Then he comes over to Pittsburgh and they put him at free safety finally. And he makes plays. Like that's all he's done since he got over here. He's just been making plays. I think he's got, let's see how many picks.
He's been great. He's been great for them.
He's been great.
He's got
like 9 picks, 11 picks since he got to Pittsburgh. So clearly he's making plays when he's out there. And this defense, you know, you need somebody on the back end, and that helps in turn TJ Watt get to the passer. Because if it's taking longer because nobody's open, then that gives more time for them to rush the passer. So I think you got to look at it that way too, that his impact isn't just felt in the secondary, it's felt on the D-line as well.
It's a perfect fit for their team, perfect fit for their defense. It's a perfect contract for him. He's worth every dollar. They won't regret it. The Steelers don't really make mistakes. It's not really what they do.
No.
Okay, like that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like they don't make mistakes. The Bengals make mistakes, not the Steelers.
9 picks, and to throw in that mix also, he has 2 defensive touchdowns being in Pittsburgh. To throw that in the mix, which
He's phenomenal. He's a hell of a player.
A defensive player getting any touchdown is huge. He got 2, one in 2020 and one before that. Like that's big. So Minkah Fitzpatrick, I think he's paid just right. I think the numbers probably have people feeling like, oh, that's a lot of money, but his impact in Pittsburgh, I think is worth it. And like you said, the Steelers organization typically do not drop the ball when it comes to that. They, outside of having been stay there too long, they pretty good on their management side.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
When you look at the 2 contracts, his compared to Jamal Adams, which those are the top 2 safeties pay-wise in the NFL, I think I'd rather take Minkah because he's a little more versatile. Jamal
He's way better than him.
Yeah, he's way better than him. And Jamal's limited. He's not a good pass defender. He can rush the passer, but
blitz boy.
You have other guys on your team for that. So if you're just rushing him the whole time, no wonder that secondary sucks. So
yeah. He's a linebacker. He's out of position. He's a linebacker. That's what Jamal Adams is. Mm-hmm. You put him at linebacker and let's end the conversation. Get your money's worth out of him there. He's Jabril Peppers. He's light-skinned Jabril Peppers.
He said he blitz boy.
That's what he is. He's a blitz boy. That's what he's blitz boy. That's all he does.
All right, man. We about to close out the show. Overrated, underrated, rated just right. The Office.
Underrated. I feel like in the Black community, people ain't putting their arms around this thing enough. It's a great show. I say The Office is the greatest TV comedy I ever seen in my life. I don't think I've ever seen anything funnier, bro. Like, for real.
I think Parks and Rec is way funnier than
Parks and I always hear that. I watch Parks and Rec. I've watched it. It's really good. It's really good. I don't think it's funnier than The Office. I don't.
All right.
I don't. I really don't, bro. But I fine. I mean, I hear that all the time. But I think it's I think it's underappreciated. Yeah, I made a new column. Underappreciated. The Office is underappreciated. It's a master. It's a work of art. Love the show. I have no complaints about it. I love the insensitivity. I love the crude humor. Those are my type of things. So I'm all into that. And also, it's more than just that, by the way. They're just naturally fun. But yeah, I'd say that's kind of my bag.
By the masses, I say they're rated right. For the most part, The Office, by the masses, is held in high regard by the masses. And I was one of the ones that was like, it's not. I watched one episode, didn't like it. I went back and watched the whole Office in its entirety. And it definitely is in my top 5 TV comedic shows all time.
Funny, so funny. I'm glad you changed your mind on that, by the way.
I went back and watched it.
Everyone tells me, oh yeah, I watched one episode, it wasn't that funny. You can't do that. And also, I think the first episode was that diversity episode, and that episode was funny as hell. But
I do have to check out Parks and Recs though. I haven't watched Parks
it's funny too. It's worth watching.
Yo, you already know the vibes. If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Bench Mob Ent, we out. We are on all streaming platforms, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, like, share with a friend. Hey, if you on that type of time, share with your ex-spouse, your new spouse. We don't care. Y'all could be on that Del Curry time. It don't matter what. Just share it, like it. You already know. We out.
Peace.